This is your latest Leicester City news, 3rd of June 2025. There are fresh concerns within the Leicester City fan base that another fan favourite may be leaving the King Power this summer. Ricardo Pereira has 1 year remaining on his Leicester City contract. However, his agent Abdi Sofian has been speaking and has revealed that the defender could leave the club this summer. He said currently Ricardo is still 1 year remaining on his contract with Leicester. They are going down to the Championship, but the idea is to find a more attractive project. Ricardo Pereira, of course, has been at the club since 2018, making 151 appearances for Leicester City. At one point, the right-back was considered one of the best in the Premier League and probably Europe as well, but since 2020, his career has been plagued with injuries, which has been really unfortunate as it just completely stopped a great player in his prime at the time. He had a pretty injury-free record in the Championship last season for Leicester City and was vital, in that system that saw Leicester bounce straight back to the Premier League at the first attempt. And there's no doubt, and rightly so, that he is one of the biggest fan favourites at the club. But for me personally, with the recent injuries and only 1 year remaining on his deal, I think it's unlikely that Leicester City get a fee of anything over £5 million for him this summer, which is why I think the club would probably be better off keeping him around for 1 more year in the Championship if he was willing to do so. But he has been a great servant for Leicester. I'm sure he's well respected and well liked at the club, so they might want to just grant his wishes if he wants to leave and let him go. Let us know in the comment section down below if you would like to see Ricardo stick around next season or if you think it's time to continue with the purge of the old guard at the club and cash in. Another Leicester City defender looking like he could depart the club this summer is Italian international Caleb Okoli. According to a couple of journalists in Italy, Caleb Okoli's entourage has offered him to Lazio, with the player said to be very interested in a return to Serie. Caleb Okoli joined Leicester City from Atalanta just 12 months ago. That deal to bring him to Leicester City was a fee in around £12 million, and it was on a 5-year deal. However, Leicester City allegedly are willing to accept offers between £7 and £8 million this summer. He's had a turbulent start to his time at Leicester City, of course, a terrible season on the pitch for Leicester, and he has had his run-ins allegedly with manager Ruud van Nistelrooy along the way. There's many Leicester fans out there that feel he should have played more of a part this season and that maybe our fortunes would have been slightly different if he had played more games. I mean, think back to the Brighton game, the 2-2 draw that we had with them. He put in a great display, he scored a goal, and the following game he was dropped. Something behind the scenes has been going on with Caleb Okoli this season quite clearly. Is he homesick? Has he had fallouts with the managers? Is he struggling to adapt to life in England or on the pitch? We don't really know, of course, but apparently Leicester City could be cashing in on him this summer, and I'm sure that news will upset quite a few Leicester fans because they feel he would be a massive part in trying to get promoted back again to the Premier League next season. And finally, the breaking news in literally the last 2 hours. Russell Martin will not be joining Leicester City. He has been incredibly heavily linked to Leicester City over the last 2 weeks. TalkSport, Ben Jacobs, Jeff Peters, Footy Insider, lots of different people have been saying that it was going to happen. But according to Fabrizio Romano, Russell Martin has taken over or is about to take over at Rangers. He's been linked to Rangers all summer as well as Leicester, but he is a former player of Rangers, and you've got to say it is probably a better fit for him. It's not a challenging league. He'll have the second best squad in the league, and I'm sure it'll be much easier for him to impose his identity and, his way of playing on the squad. But what does this mean for Leicester City's managerial situation that we find ourselves in? Well, as it stands, at time of recording this on the 3rd of June, Ruud van Nistelrooy is still the manager of Leicester City, and according to reports, he is yet to hear a word, a peep, from the Leicester City hierarchy as to whether he will be remaining in charge next season. Now, my thoughts on this. I think it would be disastrous to stick with a manager that was a big part in relegation, a manager that regressed the squad from where Cooper had it, and a manager that has been quite obvious in his press conferences that he's not interested in taking the job next season. But it is the cheapest option. We won't need to pay him off. We won't need to pay anybody's compensation to get them in. And according to Rob Tanner from The Athletic, he says Leicester could be waiting until the end of the financial year, at the end of June, to make a managerial change. So the cost of another managerial change is in the next financial year for profit and sustainability rules. Now, 2 years ago, Enzo Maresca did not come into the club after relegation until the 16th of June, so we still have a couple weeks to reach that date. I think pretty much every Leicester fan will tell you that the sooner we get this done, the better. There are managerial options out there, of course, still that a lot of Leicester fans are keen on. Danny Roll, for example, is one. Some are keen on Sean Dyche. Davide Ancelotti is another name that I keep seeing everywhere. We need to sort this out ASAP. We need to get a manager in, and we need him to be able to start planning his squad. We don't know what signings we're going to be able to make this summer, but at least if we get a man in, he can at least give the direction to the recruitment team as to what style of football we're going to be playing, what type of player we need. And I think most importantly, what players he doesn't need, because we have got some deadwood at this club that we need to shift on. And until we get a man in who's going to have his hand on the squad, we won't know exactly who he wants to keep. So hopefully the club make moves quickly on the managerial front. Again, make sure to leave us a comment down below, letting us know which manager you want to see in charge of Leicester City now that Russell Martin looks to have been ruled out. All the best. We'll see you very soon. Take care.